Okay, well, that's the list of the mines we're going to look at tonight. It's an area of about, well, it's down, it's sort of just, there's St Just, and the first one is down just on this little road here, and that goes round to Pendine and up to about there. That's you, and a little bit in. There's a small one just inland a little way on this road, but all the mines are in this region. So there they are: Wheel Ballan, Wheel Dray, Wheel Call, Wheel Edward, West Wheel Owls, Batalic and Hazard, Wheel Cock, Levant and the Smelter, Giva and Pendine Consols, and Lower Boss Drays Clay Pit. Um, I'm not sure how fast it's going to go through. I'll go through at a fairly rapid pace. If anyone wants to stop and say anything, just stop and ask me. Right, here we go then. Okay. So that's the map of the area. The first little bit is this. I'm going to just get rid of this single. That's better. This is just a little introduction to Wheel Ballan. I must admit I used AI to get some of these, and they are quite good these days. Some of the AI stuff you're getting off, but basically it's just this was a very small mine in the grand scheme of things. Employed 100 men, six van and two bottles. Later replaced by a van and tables to improve efficiency. It's pretty much standard, I think, for what the mines were like around. Right, okay, so there's St Just, and the first mine we're going to look at is this one on this bit of, just along this road here. So there's the Barrow. This is an ancient British hill fort, and on the opposite side of the road are these arrangement of dumps, and the most of the collecting we've done was around this dump here, and this was the barrow itself, Carnglush, the barrow itself. Basically, just stone huts, which were about 3,000-4,000 year old, something like that. I'm not too sure of the age of them, but that's looking down towards the Lizard, or to Land's End rather, than down over this area. That's Land's End over this way, and that is Cape Cornwall on the other side. And there are a few remains of mines along here, and there's a mine actually on Cape Cornwall, but I haven't done anything with that one. It's nearly all granite. So there's the capped shaft on the Wheel Ballan dumps, and this material all the way around is what we collect from. There's a chimney over this side, which was a part of this set. The alphabetical order, where I think the alphabetical order. So this one's Adularia, with I think tourmaline and little bits of siderite mixed in with it. Again, Adularia. Again, this scene. One thing will become very apparent in this little talk. There's an awful lot of iron around in this part of Cornwall. I got that one as bismuthite, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a bit of iron coating something else. I need to recheck that one out. These little needles of cassiterite are quite attractive. There's 2 or 3 of these. That's a little bit bigger one. Again, these are more the other varieties, but they're a very dark wine coloured crystal. Don't see them this colour much in many other places down that way. Goethite is very common in various disguises. This one is the petroidal one. Quite pretty under the when you get the right formation of it. Hematite is present in most of the mines around this area. This is monazite. I think that's the CE version on tourmaline. quartz with hematite, tourmaline again, just lots of tourmaline, lots of quartz, tourmaline. This one around is St. Just. It is Wheel Dry, which is one that old Bob Snowball, for those who knew Bob, used to like. That is the place that he always wanted to go to. You could get there very easily without walking very far, and just sit on the dump and whack away at the bits of rock. But it was the one that we all collected from over the
Mm.
years. There's the overhead map of that. That's the dump there. The track comes down. This is the Kennejack Valley track coming down, and the collecting area is there, and the engine house is over here. And this is the track that goes down. This one goes down to the valley. This goes the other side of the stream. This one goes down, and this one goes up and over the hill to Whale Edward. That's looking back up at the chimney from down in the valley, and that's the collecting dump as it was. I think it was about 15 years ago, something like that. I think that's probably Dick on his hands and knees up to the top right there. That's our friend Sheila who organised the trips for us down that way. Again, Adularia seems to be quite common amongst the rocks. This was one that Bob Snowball found this many years ago, and when he passed away, the specimen got itself to a friend of ours, Leslie Haynes. And when I saw it, I said, "Oh, I'd like that." She turned around and gave it to me. So that is the only barite I've ever. Well, I did collect a barite for somebody else. Someone asked me to get him some stuff from the mine. I took it over to Belgium for him, and apparently there was a barite in it, but I've never actually found one myself. But that's a really nice little crystal, and barite is fairly uncommon in the area.
Mm. Mm.
I got on there bismuthinite. I'm not really sure if it is or not. It's a mixture of these needles and all sorts of things going on in this. Calcite, there's calcite, two sorts of calcite mixed in with this. That's the other one, which is sort of more an elevated growth. The carbonate-rich fluorapatite, lots of that. That seems to coat all these goethites and quartzes all the way through. There's another one, hundreds and hundreds of little tiny hexagonal platelets. Another one, a bit more elongated. And that's a macro goethite nodule. They're quite common on that dump. This is a goethite with, it seems to have got a secondary growth on it. I don't really know what's going on with that one, but it was a very unusual one. I've not seen one like that again. It's the only one I've got like that. The botryoidal one, which is the common one down there. And then there's these golden goethites in various disguises. Another one there. These little balls of goethite all the way through the quartz. Very attractive under the microscope. The hematite, little specularite blades. Again, hematite mixed in with probably adularia or something else.
Oy.
Sorry. I've got this down as malachite. It probably is, but I think it's coating something else. Not sure what. This was quite nice. Hundreds of little tiny quartz on tourmaline. And a ball of quartz, quite unusual. And then you got this little stack of quartz crystals. And there's one or two more on this crystal, on this picture over this side. Also, you get the agatized version of quartz there as well in the veins, which are quite unusual. Siderite is very common there in various sizes. This is quite a bit. This is about a three, probably a 10 centimeter one. This one, well, I've got it on there 70. 70 centimeters, 70 millimeters, 7 centimeters. Um, the triangular siderites are very, very attractive. You can actually see the growth formation on lots of these. There's one there that there's the growth of it on a single crystal. The brushes on goethite. These are the more acicular ones. And then you get the botryoidal one again. And another one. And then this is with a little bit of backlighting on. It really shows the amber color of inside the crystal. And then there's the really dark ones, which do, with a little bit of messing around, produce good crystals, good photographs. And then there's rather a lot of these. I think we're getting to us about this. I don't know, not too sure what this one is. It's it might be copper with some sort of malachite overgrowth on it. I'm not really sure what it is. The same with this one. I think that might be either a copper wire or bismuthinite. I don't really know. And then I think this is some sort of coating, maybe chalcedony over quartz. I'm not really sure. It doesn't do anything in acid, so it's not a carbonate mineral. And then we get the blue, which is possibly conolite. And then another, I think that's adularia, that one. I'm not really sure, but it was what I found when I've been going through the stuff in recent years. So I put that one in. And then the next one we got to go down is that carry on down the valley, down past Whale Dry, down the coastal path. It turns towards Whale Edward and the Whale Owl set to mine. At the point where the track starts to turn left, you go out to the Boswedden set of mines, and that's down where I got to find where I am now. So there's the Kennajack Castle, there's the Kennajack Valley, and there we are, there somewhere down this. There's the valley running down there. There's the road, the track going over the top, and this is Boswedden is just down on this little bit of ground down here. And as you come down the Kennajack Valley, you've got these. This area here is an old arsenic calciner. That sort of slot down into the valley, and just a few images of that. And looking down, so this next few shots were taken on a small dump just down the bottom here. It may be in this next image. Yeah, this bank down here is where these next few specimens came from. So there's brockentite, carbonate-rich fluorapatite again, slightly bigger crystals. Different sizes, nearly all the hexagonal, which is very distinctive to the mineral. And then the conolite is quite nice. That starts to get better as it goes round the headland. Goethite again, goethite, and then this is where the goethite is starting to change and oxidize to something different. Hematite, little rosettes of hematite, malachite, good old quartz everywhere. Siderite,
Oh,
several
we dropped
different
out.
versions. Pardon? Sorry.
Okay, Martin, keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you got the again, you got these triangular siderites, which are made up of all individual little tiny platelets. Then right, if you go over the headland and down onto Whale Edward, there's another the Whale Edward mine. There's two or three. I'll carry on. There's not much on there, which you can watch this on YouTube, I guess, at some point. Right. So then we carry on over the hill. This is the coastal path coming round. So you get to this little and then there's the shaft running through here, and there's Whale Edward, and just about here is the I think you can see it better on this one. There's the Edward dump, and well, the dump is around here, but the engine house is just there. But we go in. I think the one we went in is either that one or this one. I'm not sure which. But you have to scramble down the cliff, and you can get inside the mine. But it's a bit of a drop when you get inside. But you put a rope down and just climb down that. Um, that's looking at the engine house from just below where the collecting area is. Um, but inside the mine and on the dump, you the better the I think this Conolite came from the dump, but the Conolite is a bit better than it was on the other side of the hill. So this is where the first of the cassiterite starts to really sort of show up as anything bigger than the little tiny ones that were coming out of the first place. This is one that Richard gave me, or I acquired it from Richard, compranosite. That's a new one on me, but it's got potassium in it. So this is the golden little goethite balls. Again, they really are really attractive little pieces. Langites, those glassy langites, malachite. Then underground, we found this area where you could get the well, I think I don't know if it's torbanite or metazunite, whatever, but it's one of the it's a uranium mineral anyway. So I'm not quite sure which one. Um, Also, we get pyrite in it, siderite, various versions of siderite, and that's some more of the torbanite zoonerites, which came from a little crack in the ceiling in the adit I was telling you about. What a variation of shapes and sizes and colours. That one, I'm not too sure what that one is. That might be a breakdown product or something or other. The next one along is Wheel Owls. The dump on West Wheel Owls. I think this is something on there I learned when I was doing this. Being the first one to employ the use of a steam engine to pump water out the mine shaft. That's the innovation that became widespread throughout the Cornwall mines. Uh, that one is just situated virtually 100 yards, 100 meters from Wheel Edward, but the dump is along this path here. So there's the engine house, and there's the dump running along there. Most of the collecting was done on this bit, just here. Arsenopyrite, again the carbonate rich for apatite. Chalcophyllite, Cornwall, I think. Again, possibly, or pseudomalachite. I'm not sure which. And then you get these lovely, wonderful golden goethite balls on quartz and siderite. Goethite, siderite. Very, and you get these very strange bipyramidal siderites. Never. And then there's also you get the occasional torbanite, zoonerite come out of it. The next bit is on the set is Batalic and Wheel Hazard. Um, Batalic mine is the dumps are really at the top. Um, where you there's the Batalic head. There's the crown houses down there. I think I got a picture. There's the chimney just there, but the dumps There we go. This dump here is where I collected some bits and pieces from. And as you go down over this hill and down the far side here, the cliffs have got little pods of arsenopyrite where you can get bits and pieces of some paratalcumite out and conlite and that sort of stuff. But so this path comes down towards Crown Houses, and then the other one, the Wheel Hazard, is down underneath here, under the cliff. And I've never been down that one. I've got a couple of pieces of mineral from it, but I've never been down it. This is a picture I've got on the wall behind me. It's done by a guy called Nick Talbot. This is number 98 of 850 limited edition ones. He did a series of these and then he died, poor chap. But these are really talented artists. This is the Boscoman incline going down under the sea. This is the arsenic calciner. This is called the Serpentine Labyrinth, and it goes round in a series of twists and turns, and comes out in the rough ore goes in and is roasted, and it comes out of the chimney at the top, absolutely pure, clean air. But it's a massive operation. In there, I've got the cassiterite come. This is off that little dump on the side of the hill. Conolite. Conolite with malachite. Calcite is little buttons, little nail heads. I think this is grown in the garage. This stuff, I think, but not really sure. But I don't remember being on my when I first saw the specimen. So, goethite again, and this is another strange. This came off the dump at the top of the hill. They had a fire on there, and when we went on there and had a look, there's lots of white quartz laying about, and if you broke it up, the hematite inside, there's got siderite with hematite grown on it, or the other way around. That's the hematite, specular hematite again there, and then you got the other way around of that one. This is the paratalcumite off the walls of the cliff as you go down the path towards the Crown Houses. Again, paratalcumite, another one, and then this stuff. Richard did tell me the name of this, but I forgot it, so I'll put down as unknown at the time being. But it seems it forms in these cracks in the quartz. There seems to be quite a bit of it, so it can't be too uncommon. And another green metallic, don't really know what that one is. And then this is the Wheel Hazard Hoolandite, or I think the name has been changed now, but I still call it Hoolandite. This was given to me several years ago. The next bit is Wheel Cock, which is the next little bit along, and so this is the down working your way. This is metallic, and this is Wheel Cock along this bit along here. All these shafts along here. I've got an overhead. So these are all capped shafts, buildings, and this hole, this shaft here, drops down into the sea down below there. And this is I call this Wheel Cock zone. I'm not sure if it's right or not, but out on this on here or down below here is where the axolite came from originally. Richard Barstow got it back in the 60s and 70s from down in there. And there's a little track that runs out along this ledge, and you crawl your way out. And when you get to the end, there's a vein exposed, and you get garnet and epidote and other bits and pieces from the vein. I got a few photographs of that. But and I think Dick Belson, who's with us on the talk, his wife found chalcomenite from somewhere in this area, I think. Am I right, Dick?
Wheel Cock.
Yeah. That was around this area here somewhere, wasn't it? I think where she got
Uh,
shot. That's
yeah.
That's that top shaft, and this
Yeah,
is the field as you go. Look, that was around here
it's
somewhere, wasn't it? One of these
it's
dumps.
here, it's there, just
Yeah,
there.
yeah. This is looking at that's Richard Bell's rear view. This is just a part of the. I'll just put a couple of general shots in of the areas for you to see what the dumps are like. But, that was a cold day. This was. Um, but we get anites, little tiny anites formed in the rock. Um, this is the axonite from the one on Roscommon Cliff section. This is the one I collected from Wheelcock's Horn. So you got the axonites with other minerals mixed in with them. Not sure what they are, look like tourmaline. But again, axonites they form as little groups. Bismuthinite, which forms quite nice little golden yellowy needle sprays. Another one. Carbonate rich fluorapatite. Conolite. That's the chalcomenite. This is the one that Richard gave me back, oh, I don't know, 30 years ago, I suppose, or more. My little treasure. This is the epidote. They're really strange crystals coming out of this, but it's all mixed in with this the vein exposure. And I'm not really sure what this stuff is. That's the garnets, little tiny red garnets coming mixed in with and then you get the golden girthite from Wheelcock, from the dumps on Wheelcock. Lots of girthite and the nice crystalline hematite again. Little rosettes and the native copper and even a bit of chalcedony, quartz and with hematite inclusions. Siderite, little plates of siderite. Then on the Giva mine, this was the one that was working up until the late 1960s, 70s. Um, we went down there in 1991, and I got no underground pictures other than just one of us lot at the bottom of the shaft. Um, but it was accessed by there's the tin mine there. That's the area of it, just in that bit around there. And this is looking an overhead shot, looking down on top of it all. So the head frame is around here somewhere, the Victory Shaft head frame, and that's the Levant. I'll come to that one in a minute or two. But this is the first part you'll be seeing is down on just in this area here on the beach. We went. Um, I'll- that's the head frame, the Victory head, the Victory Shaft. We went down. We dropped down in a cage. I don't know if I put the picture in or not. I couldn't have put it in. It's on the wall up here. That's looking at the shaft or the site from the top of the cliff. Um, this is the beach adit, which was the main beach adit, and the way that the guys used to go in um, when the mine was working to avoid being caught in the other. But being beach level, um, the water comes is just below the surface, and that got very wet. But you can see the copper on the wall running down through. So, and this is they're running out into the sea. Oh, there we are. That's the picture. This is us at the bottom of the Victory Shaft. So you got Alan Tingey, Richard Bell, myself, Mike Jackson, Bridget and Richard and Kevin Johns. and that was quite interesting. We dropped down to the 14 level, went through a little chamber, a little one of these little chambers somewhere, and there's an incline railway running down to the 21 level. We went down to the 18 level, which is 1,800 feet under the ground, and we were collecting paraatacamite from the old men's workings down there. And then we came up and did some collecting in the another level, and we finished up back on the 14 level, and we spent the whole day down there. Really fascinating day. So this is from Richard again, allanite and montmorillonite. And that I think is bismutite. I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but it looks. It seemed logical to be that. Again, not really sure, but I've called it bismutite. I'm probably wrong, but someone Richard will tell me. Um, Batalachite comes from in there. Quite nice. Again, carbonate-rich apatite, and on goethite. All these are the little, and I don't know. This is probably calcite, I think, but you got goethite, and this is the apatite running through here. Every day for time, not too bad. Again, they're so bright. The lights from the on the camera pick up every little reflection. Um, cassiterite crystal, and this is a lump of it, and this is the cassiterite going through it. Uh, I got chalcanthite on these. I'm not. It probably is. I'm not sure if it is or not, but I just don't like the way that's been shot through these stringers of possibly gypsum or something else. They're quite interesting little pieces. And chrysocolla, chalcocite. This is I think this is what I got. I acquired some specimens about 4 or 5 years ago from at the Romford show, and they were collected by Dick Barstow back in about 60, 61, 62, and they ended up with one of our collectors who passed away, and his friend was selling them on. So I bought a few of them off him. But you get the chalcocite crystals growing in this matrix. Chalcocite, conolite in various guises. One cuprite. That's all I've got so far. Is this little cuprite, little group there. I know there's two. This one as well. But that's coated with something else. Goethite, and then the botryoidal goethite, and all these reflections are all coming off the ring light. Gypsum is pretty much everywhere down there. Hematite, montmorillonite, and clinoclore, another one of Richard's specimens. So the malachite forms in various ways. Again, my wife's just come in the back door. This is, I think this is melanterite, the iron sulfate, because there's like it looks a bit like it's bluish, and it looks as though it's got some sort of a late growth material. Native copper, just a little bit of native copper, and another little. This came off we were down in the 14 level looking around, and we found this head of a nail or bolt, and it had this copper growing on it. Paratacamite, a single crystal. I managed to isolate one single crystal. It's just fantastic specimens, these are, but really are nice pieces. Heavensight, that's an old piece that I got. I think that came from Sam Weller years ago. That one, I put unknown on that. I'm not too sure what it is. That one is a zippy same as that one is. Then I want the Levant mine, which is at the getting towards the last little bit now, I think. I'll let you read that one later on. So we're now up, we're over here on Levant. We're on this bit now. So you go on the back of the tin mine, we're over on the cliffs on this bit over here. And this is the one. So there we are. There's the National Trust Levant. And that's that this set of workings here. But there was a dump somewhere around here we collected from, and I can't remember a lot about it, but I have got a couple of bits and pieces. So this is how it is today, and it's a museum, and the beam engine is run, I think, every day when there's someone there to work the thing. And that's the engine itself, and the shaft going down with the winder, and that looks quite an interesting. That's an interesting little spot. But we did manage to get some brockentite on a piece, and batalachite question mark, chronolite. This is nearly all from slag material. This stuff we found a slag dump. This is nearly all from that. Electringite, gypsum, Jackite. That I don't know what that one is. Not really sure. Pendine consoles was and we're getting towards the end of this. We'll be on 45 minutes. Um, it's very near the Pendine Lighthouse, and there's a car park built over the site. So it's on this very point up here. So there's one or two little. I think I went there once to got a few bits and pieces off the dump up there, but not an awful lot. So there we are. There's the end part of it. There's some dumps around here somewhere we collected from. Basically just chalcocite, conolite, conolite again, cuprite. This again was in more of a slag than natural rock. Dolomite, gypsum, malachite, pyrite, and that's the end of it. There's a couple more on there, but I don't know where they're gone. I can't see them, so I'll stop sharing there. Anyone want to ask any questions or see anything else?
Oh, I like your sandrite collection, especially
Yeah.
the tetragonal ones, which are really good, really cool.
It's it's when you start putting something like this together, you realize just how much iron is around. Cornwall is a copper and tin.
Yeah.
Very little tin was seen. Very little copper was seen, really. But there's tin and iron everywhere.
Cool.
Are these places still available? Still accessible?
It's part of a World Heritage area. The whole coast around Cornwall is now World Heritage. You can still go down and look, but you got to be careful about picking stuff up. I think you can walk around and pick up pieces, but you can't dig in theory, unless you can be sort of sneaky and get in and with no one seeing you. But definitely the Batalic bit, Will Dry, Will Edward, that is the National Trust, and they run the whole of that coastline around there. They have wardens going around every day and throwing people off if they start seeing you collect. But it's possible to find little bits of rock. You still got to just walk around and pick bits up, and You know, it's still around. It's still there.
I
We're
like your,
micromountains. We don't care. We find anything.
I like your definition of a beach as well, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, beats. Yeah,
These ones throwing out the rock. Well, that's
just
fine.
depends how big the rocks are on it.
Cobble Beach.
That was a
I have a
good
question,
exercise. That was.
Martin.
Yeah.
So if you can't really collect today, that's what I'm hearing you say. When did you do all this collecting? Because I'm just really shocked that you could
from
collect
from
so much.
1908. Well, I first went to Cornwall about 1973. And I had a camper van, RV, I suppose you Americans call them, a small RV, which is a mobile home. And I did a tour around. We drove. I think we had a 2-week trip around Cornwall. We went down one side, along the bottom, and up through the middle and out the other end. And so that was the first time. And then I went a few years later. I went back again, and then Richard Belson and Richard Bell. I got to know both of them, and then we also got to know Sheila and Steve, who ran these interest holidays at Chichester Guest House in Newquay in Cornwall, and that part of their course was a weeks long mineral collecting trip, and we used to go down there on a Friday, and have a week down from Saturday to the following Sunday, and we'd be collecting 2, 3, 4 sites a day for 6 days a week, and most of that stuff has come on them trips. And they finished doing that in 2011. I've not been down there. I went down in 2016 and did a little bit of collecting, but didn't find much because you just couldn't go anywhere. The big dump at Cock is a huge dump, and I think you can go on there and poke around and find bits and pieces. But as long as you haven't, you mustn't dig holes. The National Trust don't like people digging big holes on the place.
Yeah, sure, of course.
But yeah, it's been a good collecting. I'm glad I was alive when I did it, because that anyone starting now, they say, where can we go collecting? I can't tell anyone no more because it's don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, our friend Robbie Selly, he's working on a mine called Wheel Jewel down near Camborne, and he's been there now for several years, but he's working with permission of the landowner and the farmer, and he's found a whole suite of stuff. Henk will tell you what sort of material that he's found. I mean, it's really nice, unusual stuff, and it's all lead, iron, copper minerals, and I think it must be on about 25, 30 species from there now, and but it's just one dump, and it's on private land, and they're allowed to go and dig on it. So. But it's been a good collecting life.
Yeah,
Can't do so much now, can we,
most
Dick?
places.
No,
It's almost everywhere that all these places are off limits by these days.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's getting harder and harder to find places
Harder and
where you
harder.
can still roam around.
But-
Yeah.
well, we've now had this
My
big,
garage is quite full. I got quite a full garage, so I'm all right.
haven't we all, Martin? Haven't we all?
Well,
Well, we've
no,
got
yours
this
is a
big.
mess than it was.
We've
We
had
all,
this
we all
big
have
cake.
to. Sorry.
Go on, carry on.
Now
No,
we all
no,
have to live for over 120 years to get it all done.
Yeah, yeah.
Provided that nothing gets added anymore.
Yeah.
We just had a big case in Scotland about collecting, and the lady's been found guilty, which I would imagine is going to mean big ramifications throughout the UK. And I suspect what's going to happen is there'll be no collecting or very little collecting.
We were told that she was fined. She was found guilty on three offences and was fined £500 on each, but she spent £70,000 fighting the case, and she's still been found guilty, and she might have to pay the prosecution costs yet.
So
So
Guilty of what? Guilty of what?
collecting minerals.
Collecting minerals.
I think it's a bit more than that. I think
Surprise.
she did a little bit of damage to places that were classed as triple SIs and scheduled
Sorry.
monuments and stuff and that sort of thing.
Of
So I'm not
course,
really
yeah.
sure what she did, but
I think it's a bit more than a little damage.
yeah.
We
The
shall
story
wait
hasn't
and
quite
see.
come out yet, but it will. Watch this space, as we say. It's still a work in progress, that one. But she's been found. We've been waiting for the outcome of this because that could mean they shut down everything.
Yeah.
Because the landowners just don't want the bother of it all.
Well, any other questions from Martin? No?
Good talk.
Yep, excellent. Yeah.
Right. I'll put together the next bit now, which is the southern part around the Lisbon and that way. I'll get that together for next year sometime.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We're looking
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in a month's time.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll see you guys next month.
Wait.
Bye.
Take care.
What are we going to do next month?
What's next
Yes.
month? Next month. What are we doing?
What are we going to do?
Hang on. I'll have a quick look.
It's the 16th of September.
Or Mats.
Barb, yeah, Barb. I think Barb.
17th. Yeah, 17th of September for you.
Yeah,
And it's Barb. It's
Bob?
yeah.
Or Mats.
And that's Cornwall again.
Oh, well, again. That's all right.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be
See
interesting.
somebody else's view of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll see you then.
Yeah, see you then.
See you all
Okay.
in a month.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
You vote.
Bye.
Thank you.